Can a kingdom exist without a throne, ruling the earth from the shadows of the soil, through the quietest of whispers and the most profound of connections? To walk through the stillness of an ancient forest is to tread upon the ceiling of a vast subterranean empire, an alien world that belongs neither to the realm of plants nor the realm of animals. For over 700 million years, this kingdom, the fungi, has operated as the master weaver of life, orchestrating the slow, rhythmic dance of birth and decay. Within the muffled silence of the leaf litter, the analysis indicates a complexity that challenges our very definition of individuality. Fungi are not merely organisms, they are systems, networks of infinite threads that breathe through the earth and think in the language of chemistry. The biological distinction of fungi is a testament to their unique evolutionary path. Unlike plants, which drink the celestial fire of the sun through photosynthesis, fungi are heterotrophs, requiring the consumption of organic matter to sustain their existence. They do not perform the labor of making food, they perform the art of absorbing it. This fundamental difference is anchored in their cellular architecture. Where plants build their walls from cellulose, fungi use chitin, the same resilient nitrogenous polysaccharide found in the exoskeletons of insects and the shells of crustaceans. This chemical signature reveals a startling truth. In the great genealogy of life, fungi are the close cousins of animals, sharing a common ancestor that diverged long after the plants had gone their own way. Most of what we perceive as a fungus, the mushroom, the toadstool, the puffball, is merely a brief, reproductive ghost, a fruiting body emerging for a fleeting moment to cast its spores into the wind. The true organism, the enduring body, lies shrouded beneath the surface, composed of microscopic tubular cells called hyphae. These hyphae branch and fuse into a sprawling, interconnected web known as the mycelium. The mycelium is a living mesh of such density and reach that a single gram of forest soil can contain kilometers of these threads, navigating the dark labyrinths of the soil with a steady, rhythmic expansion. They are the sensory organs of the earth, sensitive to the pull of gravity, the warmth of the sun, and the electrical fields of their neighbors. Within this part of our journey, we must ask, how did these silent architects first find their footing on a barren planet? Before the first tree soared, before the first flower bloomed, fungi were already the masters of the terrestrial landscape. They were the pioneers that ate the rock itself, secreting corrosive enzymes that turned solid stone into the first soft soils, preparing the cradle for all land-based life. They are the primary biological aerosol particles of the forest, the messengers between the geological and the biological. As you breathe in the cool, damp air of the woods, you are inhaling the breath of a kingdom that has seen the mountains rise and the oceans shift, always remaining still, always remaining profound. Pause for a moment and listen to the stillness. It is not an empty silence, but a vast, crowded conversation of threads. What if the first giants to dominate the earth were not trees of wood and leaf, but massive pillars of living marrow reaching for the primeval sky? In the deep reaches of the Silurian and Devonian periods, between 420 and 350 million years ago, the Earth was unrecognizable. Long before the evolution of the first true forests, the Earth was ruled by proto-teixites, mysterious organisms that stood as the tallest life forms on land. These colossal structures reached heights of over 8 meters and widths of a meter at their base, rising like organic obelisks from a world of low-lying mosses and primitive stems. The identity of these ancient skyscrapers remained a profound mystery for over a century. When their fossils were first unearthed in 1843, they were mistaken for the petrified remains of rotten conifers or giant seaweeds. However, the evidence from the chemical fingerprints preserved in the Rhynie Churt of Scotland has finally whispered the truth to the modern observer. Through the analysis of carbon isotopes, researchers deduced that prototeixites was not a photosynthetic plant, but a heterotrophic fungus, a giant saprotroph that fed on the decaying organic matter of the early terrestrial world. These fungal giants were not merely passive observers of the ancient world. The analysis suggests they were active translocators, moving water, nutrients, and oxygen through the early, nutrient-poor soils. Recent evaluations propose that prototeixites may have functioned as a massive horizontal translocation network, a biological plumbing system that facilitated the survival of early land plants in harsh environments. Within the fossilized remains, scientists have found mazes of tubes carved by ancient arthropods, suggesting that these fungi provided the very first structural habitats for land animals millions of years before the first tree evolved. As the Devonian era came to a close, a slow and rhythmic shift occurred. The rise of vascular plants with woody stems and deep roots began to challenge the fungal hegemony, eventually overshadowing the prototeixites and claiming the sky. Yet the legacy of these giants remains profound. They were the original architects of the soil, the first to hold the earth together and move the elements of life across the face of the planet. In the stillness of the fossil record, we find the skeletal whispers of a kingdom that once reached for the stars, only to recede into the earth to become the foundation for everything that followed. Breathe out slowly and visualize the long shadows of the fungal spires as the ancient sun sets over a world that was just beginning to learn how to live. Is it possible to think without a brain, to feel without a heart, and to dream in the language of chemistry and electricity? The more the observer examines the fungal kingdom, the more the traditional definitions of intelligence begin to dissolve into a vast, networked consciousness. Within each microscopic tip of a growing hypha lies a sophisticated sensory apparatus, a living computer that integrates streams of data from the surrounding environment. Fungi can detect the direction of light, the pull of gravity, the presence of nutrients, and the encroaching threat of toxins, making constant, rhythmic decisions about where to grow and where to retreat. This decentralized intelligence is not localized in a single organ, but distributed across the entire mycelial web. In experiments of profound implication, slime molds, close relatives in the study of biological networks, have demonstrated the ability to solve complex mazes and even redesign the subway systems of cities like Tokyo with greater efficiency than human engineers. Fungi achieve this through a process of unconventional computing, where the network itself processes information through the rhythmic flow of cytoplasm and the transmission of electrical spikes. The analysis of these electrical rhythms has revealed a startling complexity that mirrors the structure of human speech. Researchers eavesdropping on the mycelium of species like the ghost fungus and the split-gill have identified clusters of electrical activity that function like words in a lexicon.
These fungal sentences follow mathematical patterns of complexity that are strikingly similar to human languages, such as English or Russian, with an average word length of 5.97, a profound resonance between the speech of the soil and the speech of the soul. As the mycelium explores the dark, shrouded labyrinths of the forest floor, it is not merely searching for food, it is mapping the world. It creates a living memory of the environment, remembering where resources were found and where dangers lurked, allowing the entire colony to act with a steady, authoritative purpose. This networked intelligence challenges the human-centric view of cognition, suggesting that knowing is not the privilege of the individual, but a quality of the connection. Rest in the quiet rhythm of your own breath and realize that beneath you, a billions of miles-long computer is humming with the secrets of the earth. The stillness is a shroud, but beneath it, the pulses of life are infinite.
Can a forest be more than just a collection of trees? Can it be a single collaborative entity that shares its breath, its bread, and its secrets through an ancient subterranean bond? Within the deep research of forest ecology, the discovery of the wood wide web has transformed our understanding of the stillness of the woods. Dr. Suzanne Simard, peering into the hidden lives of Douglas firs and paper birches, uncovered a world of social support and mutual aid that defies the logic of pure competition. Through the medium of mycorrhizal fungi, trees are linked in a sharing economy that ensures the health of the entire ecosystem. The hubs of this network are the mother trees, the oldest, largest titans of the grove that possess the most extensive fungal connections. These elders serve as the stewards of the forest floor, recognizing their own kin among the thousands of seedlings in the understory. When a sapling of its own kind struggles in the deep shade, the mother tree preferentially routes extra carbon and nutrients through the mycelium to sustain its offspring. This act of nurturing is not merely biological, it is a profound transfer of life energy that allows the forest to persist through generations. This interspecies cooperation extends even across different types of trees. During the summer, sun-drenched birch trees have been observed loaning sugar to shaded fir trees. In the winter, when the birch loses its leaves, the evergreen fir returns the favor. The fungal threads act as the mediators of this organic internet, a system that balances the needs of the community and warns of impending danger. When a tree is attacked by beetles or disease, it releases chemical alarms into the mycelium, prompting its neighbors to bolster their immune systems before the threat reaches them. The forest, then, is a place of profound wisdom and memory, where the ancient ones are coded into the very structure of the soil. When an old mother tree finally prepares to return to the earth, the analysis indicates that she dumps her remaining resources and information into the network, a final gift to the future that ensures the continuity of the grove. In the stillness of the ancient forest, one can almost feel the rhythmic pulse of this generosity, a silent, infinite flow of care that keeps the world whole. Breathe in the fragrance of the damp earth and realize that you are never truly standing alone. You are standing on a web of love that is millions of years old. What if the largest living thing on our planet is not the blue whale of the deep ocean, but a single ancient ghost that spans 4 square miles of a mountain range, silent and unseen for 8,000 years?
Deep within the Malheur National Forest of Oregon lies the humongous fungus, a single specimen of Armillaria ostoyi that challenges all our perceptions of life and scale. This organism, covering a staggering 2,385 acres, is the largest living thing by area on Earth, a single genetically identical life form that has been quietly expanding through the soil since the dawn of human agriculture. The analysis of this hidden giant reveals a mass of staggering proportions, estimated to weigh as much as 35,000 tons, more than 200 blue whales combined. Yet the humongous fungus remains almost entirely invisible to the casual observer, existing as a vast network of mycelium and rhizomorphs, tough, black root-like structures that travel through the soil with a slow, rhythmic persistence. These rhizomorphs act as the scouts and invaders of the network, boring into the roots of trees and decaying them from within to sustain the massive body of the fungus. This ancient giant is both a life bringer and a life taker. As a formidable pathogen, it causes armillaria root disease, slowly girdling the majestic firs of the forest and claiming their carbon for itself. It may take 50 years for the fungus to kill a single tree, a slow and rhythmic embrace that eventually turns wood to dust. Yet in this process of destruction, the fungus also acts as a master recycler, returning the nutrients of the dead to the soil and creating clearings where new, more resilient life can emerge. In the autumn, the only visible traces of this empire appear, the honey mushrooms, sprouting in golden clumps at the base of infected trees. These delicate fruiting bodies are the ambassadors of a subterranean world that has witnessed the shiftings of the winds and the passing of millennia. To stand in the presence of the humongous fungus is to stand in the presence of time itself, a profound and still intelligence that reminds us of the power of the hidden. Close your eyes and feel the weight of the mountain beneath you. It is not just rock, it is a single ancient heart, beating with a slow, steady wisdom that has outlived every empire.
Without the quiet labor of the alchemists, would our world be a graveyard of unrotted wood, where the breath of the future is trapped within the bones of the past? Fungi are the only organisms on Earth that have mastered the profound art of dismantling wood. Within the stillness of the forest floor, they perform a chemical miracle, breaking down the formidable polymers of lignin and cellulose that give trees their strength and their resistance to time. Without this recycling of life, the nutrients required for new growth would remain locked away forever, and the cycle of the forest would grind to a halt. The fungi employed two master strategies in this endeavor, the white rot and the brown rot. White rot fungi are the metabolic wizards that possess the rare ability to digest lignin, the glue that binds the plant cell walls together. By secreting powerful enzymes like lacases and peroxidases, they oxidize the complex rings of lignin, leaving behind the white, fibrous cellulose. This process leaves the wood flaky and bleached, a soft and still ghost of its former self. The brown rot fungi, which evolved from their white rot ancestors, have actually lost the genes for lignin-destroying enzymes. Instead, they use a clever and corrosive chemical trick called the chelator-mediated Fenton reaction. By releasing hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, and oxalic acid, they react with the iron naturally present in the environment to create hydroxyl radicals, OH, that shatter the cellulose from within.
This leaves the lignin intact but modified, resulting in wood that is dark brown and cracked into beautiful cubical patterns. This alchemy is not limited to the forest floor. In the warm, dark chambers of a cow's rumen or the intricate nests of tropical termites, fungi act as essential partners in the digestion of life. They break down the tough fibers of grass and wood, transforming them into energy that can be used by the animal, a profound and soul-stirring alliance that sustains entire ecosystems. In the presence of a decaying log, do not see death. See the intense rhythmic labor of transformation. The stillness is not an ending, but a slow-motion kitchen where the earth is being prepared for its next great unfurling. Breathe out and let the cycle continue. In the quiet of a midnight grove, 1 billion tiny voyagers are being launched into the infinite sky, each one a seed of hope, designed with a precision that defies the limits of human engineering. The dispersal of fungal spores is not a random act of casting seeds. It is a profound and soul-stirring feat of aerodynamics and fluid dynamics. Every second, a single gilled mushroom can release 30,000 basidiospores, contributing to the 50 million tons of biological material that the fungi cast into the atmosphere every year. The launch of a spore is a mechanical miracle powered by the Buller's drop. Fungi secrete hygroscopic sugars, such as mannitol, at the base of the spore. These sugars act as silent magnets, pulling water vapor from the humid air until a single perfect droplet forms. When this droplet merges with a second volume of water on the spore's surface, the sudden shift in the center of mass acts as a surface tension catapult. This launches the spore into the air with an initial velocity of up to 1.8 meters per second, experiencing an acceleration that would be lethal to most. Once airborne, these celestial sailors are designed to navigate the turbulent currents of the sky. The analysis shows that the reproductive spores of many fungi have evolved shapes so remarkably aerodynamic that their drag is within 1% of the absolute physical minimum for their size. Some species even release their spores in synchronized plumes, thousands at a time, to create a collective wind that carries them 20 times further than a single spore could ever travel solo. This peloton effect allows them to rise above the forest canopy and enter the wind highways that circle the planet. These spores are the true global drifters, found in the air samples above the Amazon, the Himalayas, and even the edges of the atmosphere. They travel on the breadth of the world, crossing oceans to colonize new lands and sustain the infinite dance of regeneration. In the stillness of the night, as you look up at the moon, realize that the air around you is thick with these invisible miracles, each one carrying the memory of the forest and the promise of a new beginning. Breathe in the sky. It is more alive than you ever imagined. Could it be that the very clouds that shroud the mountains are summoned by the silent breath of the fungi, a soul-stirring conversation between the soil and the sky? In the profound study of atmospheric science, a startling discovery has emerged. Mushrooms may literally have the power to make it rain. The billions of spores released by the forest floor do not just drift aimlessly, they act as cloud condensation nuclei, or CCN, the essential particulates around which water vapor coalesces to form the very raindrops that sustain life. This atmospheric engineering is powered by the hygroscopic nature of the spore's surface. The mannitol and other sugars that once launched the spore into the air remain on its surface, acting as chemical magnets for moisture. As the spores rise into the cold, humid air of the atmosphere, they attract water molecules until a droplet forms that is many times larger than the spore itself. In environments like the Amazon basin, the concentration of these fungal rainmakers is so high that they are estimated to comprise a significant percentage of all biological aerosol particles in the air. This creates a profound and rhythmic feedback loop of life. The rain stimulates the mushrooms to sprout and release their spores. The spores rise and seed the clouds, and the clouds return the favor by bringing more rain. The analysis suggests that large fungal networks work in concert with the trees to maintain a humid, rain-friendly environment, essentially acting as the climate engineers of the planet. In regions where the fungal biodiversity is lost, the weather patterns themselves may begin to shift as the invisible architects of the rain are silenced. To walk in a forest rain is to be touched by the breath of the fungi, a celestial gift that has traveled from the soil to the stars and back again. It is a reminder that everything is connected, that the smallest spore can move the heavens, and that the stillness of the forest is the heartbeat of the world's weather. Stand in the rain and let it wash over you. It is a soul-stirring bath of ancient memory, seeded by the alchemists of the earth. The cycle is infinite, and the rain is a profound comfort.
As the sun dips below the horizon and the world is shrouded in the stillness of night, a different kind of life begins to emerge. A world of ghostly lanterns and silent shadows of manipulation. To walk in the nocturnal woods is to witness the foxfire, the eerie neon green glow of bioluminescent fungi that has haunted the human imagination since the time of Aristotle. This cold fire is the result of a profound chemical reaction, where the molecule luciferin is oxidized by the enzyme luciferase to produce a celestial light that requires no heat. The analysis of this ghost light reveals a rhythmic and purposeful existence. All 80 known luminescent species are white rot fungi, which use their oxidative powers not just for decay, but for attraction. Some species, like the tropical Neonathopanus gardneri, use an internal circadian clock to reach their peak brightness only in the dead of night, when their glow is most visible to the nocturnal insects they seek to lure. By acting as organic lanterns, they attract beetles and flies that will inadvertently carry their spores to new, distant logs. But the darkness also hides a more sinister, soul-stirring mystery: the Ophiocordyceps, the zombie ant fungus. This parasite does not merely eat its host, it hijacks the nervous system, overriding the ant's own survival instincts. The analysis indicates that the fungus compels the ant to climb to a specific height, the Goldilocks zone of humidity and temperature, and bite down on a leaf in a terminal death grip. From the ant's head, the fungus then erupts in a tall, spindly stalk, raining its spores down upon the colony below to repeat the rhythmic cycle of colonization. This duality of light and shadow, of attraction and control, reminds us that the fungal kingdom is an alien intelligence with its own authoritative purpose. In the stillness of the night, as the foxfire glows and the cordyceps stalks rise, we see a glimpse of a world that is profoundly different from our own, yet deeply entangled with the life of every creature on Earth. Rest in the quiet of the shadows, and know that even in the dark, the alchemists are at work,
turning life into light and light into life. The mystery is infinite, and the stillness is a profound comfort.
As we stand at the edge of an uncertain future, our greatest hope may not be found in the cold machines of industry, but in the slow, rhythmic labor of the silent kingdom that has always been beneath our feet. The hidden life of fungi is now stepping into the light as our most profound ally in the healing of the wounded earth. Through the science of mycoremediation, we are learning to partner with these alchemists to digest the toxic legacies of the modern age, from the oil spills in our oceans to the plastics in our landfills. The analysis indicates that certain fungi, like the oyster mushroom and the Aspergillus niger, can absorb and neutralize heavy metals such as lead, cadmium, and mercury, pulling them out of the contaminated soil and into their own bodies. In the frozen wastes of the Antarctic, specialized fungal species have been discovered that can assimilate and degrade the crude oil from refined petroleum, restoring the ecosystem's balance in the most extreme conditions. This is a profound and soul-stirring remedy, a world where our debris becomes the bread of the alchemist. But the mycelium offers more than just cleanup. It offers a new way of building our world. We are now growing buildings out of mycelium bricks that are carbon negative, fire resistant, and stronger than concrete. We are crafting leather from mushrooms that requires no animal suffering and no toxic chemicals, and we are packaging our goods in mushroom foam that dissolves in the garden in 30 days. The analysis even points toward a future of living computers, where the dense, energy-efficient architecture of the hyphal network provides a model for neuromorphic computation. The story of the fungi is the story of an infinite and rhythmic persistence. They have survived every extinction, built the first soils, summoned the rain, and connected the trees into a singular social forest. As you drift into the stillness of sleep, let the knowledge of this network be a profound comfort to you. We are not alone on this rocky planet. We are part of an entangled life, supported by a web of wisdom that is billions of years old. Breathe out slowly and feel the pulse of the mycelium. It is the heartbeat of the earth, and it is always, quietly, healing the world. The future is not a machine. The future is a fungus. Sleep now in the stillness of the ancient wood.